Adjust your shorts and prepare yourselves to get kicked in the dick by the news. My name is Ray Stone. Today is Thursday, February 5th, 2026. And if you're just listening to this, you can also find a video version on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, which is called Bomb With Me Comedy. Bomb With Me Comedy, just like you think it's spelled. What is interesting about this is you can't Google me, even though Google owns YouTube. You can't Google it, but you can find it if you search it on YouTube. So you tell me what that's all about. I think maybe it's because I haven't been building a podcast over there. I've just been uploading videos. So if you want to see the video version of this and follow along and watch me as I make dumb faces, come check me out over on YouTube. Until then, let's jump into the news. Shall we? First up, latest Epstein files release rattles Silicon Valley. Because he was in ties with everybody who has any kind of real money. It's like, what do we think is going on here? Doesn't it seem like this was a big scandal where one financial advisor, one financier, it's funny, they call him a financier and they also call him a financial advisor, but there's no history of him ever financing anything except for a few plane rides. The Lolita Express headed to and fro hither and yonder locations with said underagers on board and some overagers too, but lots of underagers too. But it's like, why are they surprised that Silicon Valley would also be involved? Those guys are like the next class of billionaire. It's all Silicon Valley guys that have all the new money. And so it's like, all that oil money, all that old money, the old money has to get its hands in the tech stuff too. So like, are we confused that that Epstein was also involved in Silicon Valley? No. Is it good that it's finally coming out in these 3.5 million documents that Grok needs to sort through like ASAP? Yeah, it's probably good. It's probably good that it's coming out. But have no fear, because old Trumpster says the country should move on from Epstein files after the latest release. After this release, they should just move on. The quote is, I think it's really time for the country to get on to something else. Oh, I wonder why that is. I wonder why would he want us to move on from that? Clearly he's not interested. Clearly he's not interested in anything that had anything to do with Epstein. He never was, barely knew the guy. Except for that party video where he's like, yeah, give me one of those. I'll take two of those. Hey, big old Billy Clinton, what do you want? What kind of dress do you want to wear today? I think it's time to move on. Well, let's see why. The Guardian says there's 10 good reasons for why we shouldn't be moving on, and here they are. Number 1, Norway's crown princess and Epstein's wife hunt. Now, we learned a little bit about the crown princess, and what did they say? It was a regrettable judgment. She showed poor judgment when she was hanging out with Epstein. It was just a poor judgment. We all had poor judgment before. The latest tranche of files has linked Norway's crown princess, Mette Marit, I don't know how you say anything in Norwegian, to Epstein, appearing to show her extensive contact with the disgraced financier. See, there it is, financier, from 2011 to 2014. She apparently told Epstein, quote, "You tickle my brain," in one message, and called him soft-hearted and such a sweetheart in others. In 2012, she said he was very charming, and asked if it was inappropriate for a mother to suggest 2 naked women carrying a surfboard for my 15-year-old son's wallpaper. What the fuck? I don't know what the hell we're talking about anymore. That's not what he was doing. We're not worried about the fact that he said something about a nude magazine centerfold for your 15-year-old son. It's fine. Number 2, Deepak Chopra, his view of the alleged victim. Now, apparently, Epstein had taken great pride in improving his spiritual health. Why on earth do you think he needed to improve his spiritual health? I mean, was there anything that maybe he could have done to improve his spiritual health? I'm just wondering if there was maybe anything for his spiritual health that he could have done. Well, you know what? We're going to ask Deepak Chopra, who attended intimate dinner parties at Epstein's New York residence in the presence of Woody Allen and called his nights out a blast. In November 2016, Epstein sent Chopra a report saying that a troubled woman with a history of drug use made up allegations that she was assaulted by Trump and Epstein, aged 13. That article reads, Epstein was aged 13, but no, a 13-year-old girl came out and said she was abused by Trump and Epstein. And he's trying to lambast and say she had a history of drug use. Troubled history, troubled woman. She wasn't a woman. She was 13. She was a girl. All girls at 13 are troubled. They're just starting to get their periods down there. Yeah. And she's also preteen, or actually current teen. All teens are troubled. It doesn't mean that you can take advantage of them sexually and then lie about it and then sell them to other people and then lie about that. Does it? And apparently, in a statement, when Epstein passed on that she had dropped the civil charges against him, Chopra replied, "Good." In a statement, Chopra said, "I hope that all of the truth comes out after ongoing and proper investigations. I'm happy to share whatever I know with authorized officials." Isn't authorized spelled with a Z? Maybe not in England. So yeah, Deepak Chopra, also, everyone's involved. Let's see here. Epstein's warning over Mandelson's memoir. Peter Mandelson, the former UK ambassador to the US, is now under police investigation for misconduct in public office over relations with the Epstein files. He described Epstein as a chief life advisor and appears to have sent him a draft of his memoir, The Third Man, Life at the Heart of New Labor, in May 2010. The financier was concerned with the gossipy nature of the manuscript would damage Mandelson's potential for deal-making in his post-political life. He wrote, "I think we should speak about this book. I have finished my first read. Yes, that fast. That's what I do. I find it troubling." He said it might be a commercial stake through your heart. And I think Keir Starmer right now is decrying the UK's relationship with Mandelson as the ambassador to the US, saying that also was unfortunate. I mean, they're all just so unfortunate. And what did Trump say again? I think it's really time for the country to just get on to something else. Let's get on to something else. Okay, something else. Former Israeli Prime Minister's admiration of defense deals. So Ehud Barak is mentioned repeatedly in the files, which make clear the former Israeli Prime Minister and Special Forces soldiers stayed in regular contact with Epstein for many years after the financier's 2008 guilty plea for sex crimes in Florida. So he pled guilty. Is anyone even doubting any of this? Let's keep going. Billionaire's CEO's request for Jared Kushner meeting. We all know who Jared Kushner is? Oh, that would be Trump's son-in-law. But Trump says we should just move on. Guys, we should move on. We don't need to look into this, and my son-in-law's involved, for crying out loud. The file suggests that Anil Ambani, the billionaire CEO of the sprawling India-based multinational conglomerate, the Reliance Group, we've heard them before, first contacted Epstein in early 2017. For more than 2 years, the two immensely wealthy men exchanged messages on Skype, email, and SMS on topics ranging from geopolitics to how to choose a jacket. Which jacket makes this little boy's dick look bigger in my hand? The short sport coat or the tux and tails? Which jacket makes his hand look so much smaller in my hand? You know? Jared Kushner. Meanwhile, here's number 6 reason why we shouldn't be just thinking about something else. Rulebook for Epstein's Florida mansion. Glimpses of this document were revealed. Rules included for like the staff that were expected to see nothing, hear nothing, say nothing. So mum's the fucking word. Other rules said that air conditioning should be kept at 60 degrees Fahrenheit at all times. Guns should be provided in bedside drawers. What? Required large quantities of tissues and toothpaste to be kept in the bathrooms, and mandated a, quote, vibe check, unquote, specific rules for the provisions and placement of sex toys. I mean, everyone who has been involved, this is the problem, is that everyone has been involved. So, can't we, what can we do? Can we wipe them all out? Should we just give them all, maybe, you know what? Let's send them a vibe check. Vibe check, cup check. How's your dick? I hope it feels kicked right now. Epstein's friend for Andrew. This one was pretty, earlier this year, or at the end of last year, Prince Andrew, who is the artist formerly known as Prince Andrew, now known as just Andrew Mountbatten Windsor Hotel, had lots of communications with Epstein, and it was excommunicated from the royal family last year. I have a friend who I think, this is a quote from Epstein, I have a friend who I think you might enjoy having dinner with, Epstein wrote. Her name is Irina. She'll be in London the 20th to the 24th. The royal was only too pleased to accommodate, appearing to have written that he would be delighted to see her. Will she be bringing a message from you? He asked. Please give her my contact details to get in touch. Andrew apparently recognized that the woman might not be a close friend. Quote, any other information you might know about her that might be useful to know, like what have you told her about me, and have you given her my email as well? Epstein reassured she's 26, Russian, clever, beautiful, trustworthy, and yes, she has your email. I mean, how dumb is the prince? It's like he went down the right road of thought, which is, does she know I'm Prince Andrew? We don't want that. We just want to do anonymity, hopefully. And he's like, and Epstein even says to him, he's like, yeah. You're not getting anonymity. All right. Woody Allen's Downing Street invitation. That's not surprising. Woody Allen was a known chomo, and we're not surprised at all about that. And then Bannon asks, do you think you're the devil himself? To which Epstein replied, no, I'm not. And the devil scares me. It's like, yeah, right. If the devil scares you, who do you think the devil is? Honestly, like, who are you talking about? Because it's not the devil. If you were worried about the Christian devil, you wouldn't be doing the shit you're doing. You just, look at this. Just, he looks like a Roman. Just, he even has the Roman Senate haircut. It's just like, God. All right. Lastly on this list, this is the Brad Karp, Wall Street law firm boss, resigns after emails to Epstein released. And all I want to do is just really zoom in on this guy's face. I want you to look good and close at this guy's face. I do think we kind of wear the truth of what we did right on our faces. And I know another guy that looks like this guy, and, well, he's dirty too. So, careful. If you touch kids, you'll end up looking like this. Okay, moving on. ABC. Whoops, I closed it. I guess we don't need to bother with that. Dems outline demand in GOP in ICE funding fight. Now, this is good because there should be demands on ICE. But what was strange about this article is it didn't actually show what the demands were. This is the part that drives me crazy. It's like on all this reporting, they tell you things and then they like spin the story, but only to politicize and build a story and build a narrative and not to actually tell you what the important things are. But you could just click here and look it up yourself. And here are the 10 amendments that they want to make to the ICE enforcement. Okay, targeted enforcement. So this means you can't enter private property without a judicial warrant, which was supposed to be the case, and then some judge said, no, they can go in wherever the fuck they want because he's probably on the payroll. But I believe, yeah, you shouldn't just be able to walk on in. You should have to find them and go get them. Number 2, no masks. Right. You don't get to cover up the fuck who you are. You don't get to cover up the fuck who you are. Cops don't get to cover up who the fuck they are. You don't get to do it. No masks. Require ID also. If you're a cop, you have to carry a badge. If you're military, you have to carry your dog tags and military ID. That's how it works. You don't get to just anonymously join and just be like, well, I'm a Proud Boy, so I guess that makes me qualified. I'm going to go ahead and just tell people I'm Border Patrol. I bought some of these old camo fatigues some years back. I've been waiting to try these on, and they don't really fit over my big fat beer gut now because I'm a little piggy, but I'm still going to go try to kill someone. Yeah, definitely. No masks. Require an ID. Protect sensitive locations. Yeah, not around schools, not around medical facilities and childcare facilities. Churches, whatever, polling places, whatever, courts. I mean, I guess you should be able to patrol around the courts because that's where you might find some of these criminals. Uphold use of force standards. Yeah, there needs to be standards and they need to be upheld, and they don't seem to be. It seems like you can just kneel on somebody until they go limp as you pepper spray them, take their gun and shoot them while they're on the ground, and then say they were armed. He was coming right for us, even though there's 10 other videos that show, nah, he wasn't. Even though Renee Good was clearly trying to drive away and the officer was standing in the road that got bumped and shot her dead in her car. Yeah, I think that's a little excessive. A little, yeah, Trump, you could use a softer touch is what he keeps saying. Yeah, softer touch. Build safeguards into the system. Yes, build safeguards. Make clear that all buildings where people are detained must abide by the same basic detention standards that require immediate access to a person's attorney to prevent citizens' arrest or detention. Allow states to sue DHS for violations of requirement and prohibit limitations on members' visits to ICE facilities, regardless of how those facilities are funded. Yeah, 100%. There has to be transparency. You can't just squirrel people away, whether you got the right one or not, and then keep them indefinitely and not let their lawyers contact them or their family members contact them. I mean, this is just insane behavior and should be absolutely put to a stop. And no parliamentary police, meaning you don't get to use, you have to make your own uniform. And their uniform should be white t-shirt and brown khakis. What up? White t-shirt, brown pants. No gun belt. No all of that stuff. What's crazy is that they get to be armed. They get to be armed. How about this? If you identify that one of these illegals that you're going after is a criminal, then you contact the local authorities who have training with their weapons, and you bring them along on the very specific raid. But you don't just stop somebody in traffic and point your gun at them and tell them, move along because I'm a piggy little man. Okay, NPR. Here's a poll. 2/3 of Americans say ICE has gone too far with immigration enforcement. Yeah. 2/3. I think it's probably higher than that. I don't know what room you got that other 1/3 out of. I guess there are some septuagenarians that just keep running this place. Here we go. Scoop. U.S. and Russia in Axios agree to observe new START nuclear pact after expiration. The old Russia and the United States have a nuclear pact. called START, which is set to expire like right now. And you know who's negotiating that? Jared Kushner. There he is. Old Jared Kushner. I saw an article recently that said, just where did Jared Kushner come from? And it's like, oh no, yeah, he came from Trump's family. That's where he came from. He's just right place, right time, right guy. Wants nothing more than to impress old stepdaddy Trump, daddy-in-law Trump. And so he's doing whatever the fuck Trump says he should do. And he's going to make gobdillions at it. What did I see recently too? I saw something that said Trump has made more in this first year of being president, this term of his presidency, than he has made in his entire life. And what does that tell you? Well, they're just making deals in the back rooms. Here we go. NBC, Donald Trump said Wednesday that his pick to lead the Federal Reserve would not have received the offer had he expressed a desire to raise interest rates. It shouldn't be in the Fed's interest to desire anything. Their only desire should be to take into account all of the metrics that lead to depression or strong economic growth and try to tilt the country towards strong economic growth. Unfortunately, for the Fed chair, all policies led to economic growth are fucked and actually just transfer wealth into the wealthiest, which is how this game works. And then so what we're left over with is no choice, because you can't grow jobs if you're putting everybody out of business with the tech industry. And if you offer low interest rates, then credit becomes too easy and too rampant. And that's what happened in 1928. Credit was too easy. People default on their loans. Same thing that happened in 2008. Too easy, you default on your loans. And so something pops, everybody pulls all their money out of the stock market, and then anybody who's smart puts their money back in when they reach the bottom, or if you were never in before, now's the time to buy. But you don't get someone in there who doesn't want to move interest rates. He should want to use that tool as a necessary tool to control our runaway currency, our runaway inflation, our runaway unemployment rate. I mean, you have to use the tools, not your emotions, when you're trying to make this stuff happen. See, this is the problem. We actually just have an emotional guy running the country. That's the real problem. We have an emotional guy running the country. We don't have a calm, cool, collected guy who knows math and stuff real good running the country. We don't. We have a guy who thinks his morality is the best morality. All right, moving on. BBC. Just the main headlines for BBC brought me to U.S. and Iran agreed to hold nuclear talks in Oman on Friday, which is good. We should be holding nuclear talks with Iran, and we should be allowing them to develop their nuclear power. They have expressed zero desire to have nuclear weapons. What we have is a very express desire to get their oil. Something that I have to go back on. I have been saying that Britain, England has been pulling oil out of there. I guess they stopped doing that sometime post World War II. I think sometime in the 70s is what it said, when Iran nationalized its oil interests and kicked all of the private companies out, because that's how you grow an economy. You don't sell your oil for cheap. You take over and sell it for the going rate and increase the value of your country. That's how you build it. You don't be selfish about it. You be selfless and you bring people up instead of squeezing their nuts and adjusting their shorts for them. And with that, you can pull your shorts back down to their normal levels. Consider yourselves kicked in the dick by myself and the news. I, as always, am Ray Stone, and we will see you on Tuesday. Bye.